It is One Soccer Today for this Monday, January 22nd with Gareth Wheeler, Oliver Platt, and Jordan Wilson. And we get to start the week and start the show, gentlemen, by circling back to a story that we had highlighted last week. And those were the rumors of a return to the nation's capital, the teasing of the return of Ballou Tabla. Well, today the news was made official. Ballou is back on a 3-year deal. Jordan Wilson is already shaking his hands at the prospects of Atlético Ottawa going back to a team that is starting to resemble the one that would have lifted the CPL Shield, the North Star Shield, back in 2022. Jordo, your takeaways from the big news today in Ottawa?
It's the biggest news. It's the biggest news up to date, and I think it will be the biggest signing of the season, regardless of who's coming into the Canadian Premier League, just because of what you're going to get. Even if Ballou Tabla doesn't go on and score 7 goals and have 4 assists, he's still a distraction. He's still an energy player, a guy that you can look to create some havoc for Atlético Ottawa. You can tell by Fernando Lopez how excited he is and how it had to be him, by the way, because all that little hoopla that was going on with Atletico Ottawa.
If it wasn't him after all of
that. If it wasn't, I was like, this is a bit wild. But it's rightfully so for Ballou Tabla, a guy that you just know what you're going to get. And I think this side, Atlético Ottawa, they're not going to play much different, but they still need an ace card like a Ballou Tabla. If he played on any team in the league, he would thrive. He's just that good of a player. So if they can get a striker, if they can get 1-2 players around to help, this Atlético side, it's hard to keep them out of one of the top spots in the Canadian Premier League. I'm saying it from now. I think they're there.
Ollie, still a couple questions for me at center back, but no doubt Ballou makes them a much, much better team. How big of a difference do you think he'll make this year?
A huge difference. He's going to be one of the best, if not the best player in the league. He proved that during his last stint in the Canadian Premier League. Difference makers of his caliber are difficult to find in this league, and so to bring one back, the first time around, let's remember there was a little bit of an element of risk to the signing, right? He'd kind of fallen off the map a little bit, hadn't really been able to reestablish himself in Montreal, and came to Atlético Ottawa. And at the beginning, he needed a bit of time to settle in, and there were maybe a few questions being asked, but this time he comes back as a player who's proven in this league, who knows the club, who should be able to hit the ground running straight off the bat. And I think this is indicative of a different approach, or maybe a reversion in some ways to Atlético Ottawa. They went very young last offseason. A lot of experienced players went out. Not many experienced players came in. They tried to, I think, evolve the style of play and change the identity a little bit. I think this offseason is going to be much more about they're building a team to win right now, and I know Ballou Tabla is still a young player, but relative to the CPL, he's an experienced player with the places he's been, obviously having a top season in the CPL as well. I think you're going to see more signings again of proven CPL players who are going to really bolster the spine of the sides. And like Jordan says, it's a team that looks like it's going to be right back in contention as a force this year in the CPL.
It's just a massive signing for Atlético Ottawa, and shows you how ambitious they want to be. You always knew that they were going to come out swinging after the disappointment of last season and try to make some statement signings. And I know that he's been there, done that before, but I think it even comes with more promise this time around. Like Oliver Platt said, was one of the best players in the Canadian Premier League back in 2022. But I actually think that there's still some room for growth. And at 24 years of age, turning 25 this year, why not? He's entering his prime. It's an absolute coup getting this player to come back to the Canadian Premier League on a 3-year contract. It wouldn't have come cheap by any means as well, bringing him back to this league. And I think right now, if you're Atlético Ottawa, you're expecting even more from Ballou Tabla. More goals, more assists, more consistency game in, game out in terms of his play. But he added that X factor that they really missed last season. So he's gone on to have that experience in Turkey, which will continue to help him grow and evolve as a player. And he's going to bring that back to the Canadian Premier League. He brings name recognition. He's an exciting player. He's a watchable player. Look out. Like, this is a clear statement of intent by Atlético Ottawa. And I like the move for Ballou Tabla as well. A little bit of security, a place he did really well. Felt very comfortable. He spoke to all of us about that. Really enjoyed his time in Ottawa. And then he's still young enough, even if this contract does run out, that he can still go out and make a move elsewhere if he reaches that level. So just a big day for soccer in the Canadian Premier League, for soccer in our nation's capital. Statement signing by Atlético Ottawa.
Ollie, I'm going to give you the first chance to take the reins here and give us a Monday morning or Monday evening plat bomb. Would you be prepared to say that Atlético Ottawa are ahead of Forge in the current preseason power rankings?
Well, I think we discussed a version of this question last week when we talked about the 3 Ontario clubs, and I believe I picked Atlético Ottawa then.
You
so
did.
I'm not gonna change my minds now. I just think on paper, I like what they're doing. I like the 2 big pieces they've already signed in Tabla and Debrienne. Like I said, I don't think they're done. I think there's more to come here. Ollie Bassett's still there. I asked Carlos Gonzalez about him a week or so ago, and he said he wants him to be here this season, and he's going to push for that. So there you go, straight off the bat, you've got 3 real difference makers in the team. And again, like I said, I think a team that has learned a lot from the success of 2022 and then by their standards, failure of 2023. And I think Gonzalez is a very good coach with a very clear idea of the kind of team he wants to build now. And I think they could be very good this year. So they'll be ahead of the champions for now, at least for me.
Gareth Wheeler.
No, Oliver Platt. Let's wait and see. Like, such disrespect to a team that just goes on and replenishes and goes out and wins the Canadian Premier League every year for Forge. Atlético Ottawa, yeah, these are exciting moves, but last time I checked, they need to replace a good chunk of their back line. Acosta's not coming back. Espejo's not coming back. 2 excellent players.
So the Forge.
Sting's not coming back. But they still have players across that back line in Forge who can step up and step in with greater confidence. I like we met in Ottawa, but Forge, Matusala, great young player. They have options at that position, so I'm not worried about that. And Forge has players up top that can put the ball in the back of the net. I still think that the striker position is one that still can be strengthened in this Atlético Ottawa team. Their midfield really rounding into form, decent players in wide areas, but I still think there's some serious work to do for Atlético Ottawa.
Jordan, thank God we hired you at this company. You just break all the ties.
No, I love it. I break the tie.
And he ends up agreeing with me as well. So
look, I have to agree with Wheels with this one. Look, we did it last season, and everyone was going against Forge. Look, this is still a side we cannot talk bad about because they still get it done. Last year was so poor for them, and they finished second. We have to give them some respect. Forge still have it going. I also think with Atlético Ottawa, they still have a lot to do with the team. Yes, this is heading in the right direction, but Wheels brought up a great point. Acosta, Espejo, 2 huge players for this side that have done a lot of work to keep them afloat. This is a defensive-minded team. You had 2 players that were showing up. Acosta sometimes had to play in the middle, right back, whatever it was. He was a stable player. They need to find some more stable players like that if they want to be at the top. I think they're a playoff team. I think they'll be in the top. But to say they're the top of the top, no, we're not. I'm not doing that.
Work to do.
No one's disrespecting
Ollie, patient
Forge
with your hand on your chin. Go ahead.
You are.
No one's disrespecting Forge. Great sides, but you're acting like it's out to lunch to suggest this. Like who finished top of the table after 28 games more recently? Atlético Ottawa or Forge?
That's a good point.
2022.
Forge has been knocking on the door, and Ottawa took a big step back last season. You can't pretend that last season didn't happen.
And they finished
a season where Forge inevitably went on and won.
And they finished last in 2021.
Okay, boys, time up because York United have also entered the chat here. There is some rumblings. We thought we were done with Frank Stirring. No. According to reports, they're about to sign Mexican youth international Osvaldo Leon, and that would put him right beside Frank Stirring, and it would also, Gareth Wheeler, be our first taste of the Mexican ownership and their ties and, quite frankly, the resources that they have to help reimagine this team and add some really good, strong young players. What do you make of the reports?
Well, yeah, not knowing a whole lot about the player, but I think that this shows kind of where York United are going to lean on right now. They're going to lean on the expertise of their manager, Martin Nash. They're going to try to develop over time more of a footprint that's much needed in terms of bringing players in from a local area, from York region, from the GTA, and make them part of the fabric. I think that's more of the long-term plan, but if they want immediate results, I mean, with the Mexican leadership now that are running this team that have their fingerprints and will have their fingerprints all over the way that the squad will be built. This is the first player that they're bringing in of a player that they'll know about. They'll know his representatives. They'll understand what he can bring to the table. So for me, this is very exciting that this is the first glimpse, and he will be a litmus test on the type of player pool that they're looking to bring up to Canada to play in the Canadian Premier League from Mexico. So this is a really exciting move for me. Looks like he has some pedigree and some promise. As York United, I mean, we just were talking about Atlético Ottawa. They're rebuilding their back line. They had to because they didn't have the numbers last year, but Paris G no longer there. Tasman Mortakudis no longer there. So with Stirring, this young player coming in, you know, the long-term vision is to bolster their footprint in York region, but I think there's going to be a nice Mexican flavor involved as well. So it's about the players adapting and showing their quality up here in Canada.
To the former York United man, Jordan Wilson.
Yeah, this is a hybrid. Wheels is right. You got to get the best of both worlds, and the best of both worlds is local players, but also, you know, there's going to be a Mexican player. There's going to be a twist on it. You got to bring in, you have new owners coming in. They're going to look after people that they know and want to kind of merge the two. I'll say to him, Osvaldo coming in as a player who came in and then played center back. This is an athletic league. Like, this is no cakewalk. I think center backs are coveted just because of what they can do. Obviously, playing the ball forward and defending is a huge part of the game and stopping them. But this is such an athletic league and talented strikers. Every week you're tested. So for him, it's just really coming in and working hard. And Martin Nash plays a certain type of style that playing the ball forward. Hopefully he's a good ball playing center back. But it's just him getting acclimated quickly, because once you can do that, then the rest is really up to the player.
And York has room with a couple more international players to come in. It's only Samaro, Selenovic, and now Osvaldo. So there's still room for maybe more of that Mexican influence to come in, much like Atlético Ottawa leaned into their Spanish ties to bolster their squad as well. So I like it. It's what it's all about. Top Canadian players, surround them with some good international players, and hopefully you come up with the right mixture.
It is women's football presented by Visa, and we are going to begin the report by talking about Manchester United and Chelsea. It was a match in the Women's Super League that featured three Canadians in the starting 11. Lawrence Buchanan and Jade Revere. It was a 3-1 win for Chelsea, the current league leaders. And I know, Gareth, I'm just riling him up. So I'm going to go to Oliver Platt instead.
What do you want to talk about? Manchester United losing. Yeah, that'll make the show. This is the way that things go here.
So we're all smiling. It was the cheery segue that I needed, Oliver Platt.
Every time.
Yeah. Look, the kind of odd situation with the Canadians at Chelsea continues a little bit. I felt this weekend that they won. They're top of the league. They've got a great chance of winning another Super League title. So again, you don't want to overstate the issues here. But Jessie Fleming not in the squad. I'm not sure what the explanation was for that. Had a look today to see if there was some injury, but she was training last week, left out. Not sure what's going on there. And then the one you do look at in particular, I think, is Kadisha Buchanan, who doesn't, I don't think is playing her best football right now. I think there is a big question mark as to whether she'll be cracking that Chelsea lineup when they're fully fit. She's playing right now, not playing the best football of her career since that move from Lyon, I don't think. And that's not what you want to see as a Canada fan in an Olympic year. Now, to be fair, Buchanan, I think, has rarely let Canada down regardless of her club form. You know, there's a few players on this Canadian squad that seem to be able to perform and deliver regardless of what's going on in their club situation when they come to the national team. So fingers crossed that'll be the case. But I don't think it's been an altogether smooth year for her. And it's just an interesting situation, obviously, with Emma Hayes on the way out there to see what happens. Less so with Lawrence because she's still in her first year at Chelsea, but particularly Fleming and Buchanan, to see what happens there in terms of their long-term future, what a new coach means, and whether it will be a benefit or whether they could be looking elsewhere. So just something to monitor, I think, as much as they're still flying high at the top of the league.
And Jordan Wilson, more Canadians headed to the Women's Super League. Sarah Stratigakis has joined the Robins over at Ashton Gate, Bristol City. She moves. The Canadian international, who has had an interesting career, Jordan, in terms of when she's been picked, the frequency with which she's been picked. Only 2 starts, 5 caps. Her first coming back in 2017. Her most recent, 2021, against the Welsh in a 3-0 win where she played 22 minutes. We continue to see this pipeline go to what, if you ask the players, is the greatest league in women's football. Your thoughts on Sarah's move?
go to a place where you feel like you can play and make yourself available for the national team. I think also too with players, when you're at the ripe age of 24, it's about playing, right? I think when you're a bit older, you can maybe make a big money move. But for Sarah, I think you got to go somewhere, got to make yourself available to be seen and go and kill it. I hope the best for her. Personally, this is me kind of getting acclimated with a new player. I don't really know her or heard of her, but this is an opportunity. Whenever you sign a new deal, that's your time to really break into a team, and then who knows what can happen to you for Canada, because that's really the ultimate goal, right? Is to be playing for both club and country.
Just really quickly on this, Stratigakis was a very good youth player in the Canadian ranks. It's shocking to me that she has 5 caps and 2 starts and hasn't played since 2021 in a position of need for Bev Priestman. So whether it's stylistically or there's something else, certainly there should be a spot for her in this team. And moving to the biggest league in women's football right now, even if it's bottom of the table, Bristol City. Hopefully, this is a good move that can put her back in a position to play for Canada.
Congratulations to Sarah, who joins until the end of the 2024-2025 season, and she'll be wearing shirt number 18 at Ashton Gate. All the best to her. Our thanks to Visa for today's Women's Football Report.